versatility, lyrics, themes, concepts, flows, production. It's all here.
Go subscribe.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Brews and Reviews. It's knowledge, and today I'm reviewing SABA Few Good Things. This is one of the few newer artists that believes in taking time to develop his projects. He is not the ubiquitous presence that we see out of many of his peers, and that's surprising and refreshing at the same time. Surprising that he didn't try to capitalize on the success of his last album, Care For Me, which came out in 2018, and that he waited nearly 3 years to bless us with a follow-up with that album. And not only was he not putting out albums for 3 years, but he wasn't in a lot of guest appearances and releasing singles. We did get a few things here and there, and every single one of them were fire. And that works too, kids. It works. If you try to make yourself rare, when you do show up, people will be that much more happy to hear it. This is the third studio album from the Chicago MC. Free samples. The album kicks off not with the voice of SABA, but a guest appearance from Cheflee. Wasn't too familiar with this dude. I think he's in Pivot Gang, but he can sing. We got an intricate jazz-inspired production, great jazz drums on this, so much live instrumentation on the album, and nice bars and rhyme scheme from SABA. He's flowing over this nicely. He talks about poverty and ends the track with these lines, which will come back later. I tried to spend a little less like a minimalist, but then I can confess that this gets harder the bigger you get. One way or every, with a budget, this is one of the beats that really stood out for me on first listen. This, like almost all of the tracks, was produced by Daoud and daedaePIVOT from SABA's Pivot Gang. This has a nice bass line and guitar-led rhythm, more live guitar, lots of live instrumentation. Like I said, the beat and his chorus kind of reminds me of the Grouch. And I know that's a weird comparison, but that's what I thought on hearing it. Probably a lot of you don't even know who the Grouch is, but he's an Oakland MC who always brings the positive vibes. And you know that SABA is going for the California sound here because he mentions California later on. The verse and concept of this were alluded to on the last lines of the previous song. Just as he's confessed that it's hard to live as a minimalist, this verse is about how he spins and how he has to support all of his homies because he's the one who's successful. Really interesting at the end of this song, how we get an instrumental breakdown. They start adding elements to the beat and you think that it's about to go off into some crazy instrumental stuff, but it cuts off really quick and goes on to the next track. Survivor's Guilt, completely different vibe from the previous track. Same production team, same rapper, yet complete 180, and somehow it still fits. This type of thing is employed a lot on this album. This beat is more of a drill style, whole song more drill, and something we'd be more used to with Herbo, who's featured here, spitting over. SABA proves his versatility by going in hard on this as well. After paying homage to his cousin Walt again, he gets into some shape metaphors, then comes back for verse 2 to talk about uplifting his family and friends. And all this sheds light on the title of the song. He's survived while his cousin didn't, but also he was the one to survive poverty, to come out of that, and he feels guilt. So therefore, he's giving back. I also like how both Herbo and SABA are spitting pretty fast throughout their entire verses until the last 4 bars where they slow it down. And it's pretty cool that they matched each other's style on that. Fearmonger, the first single, and another positive vibe banger. And I don't know that I've heard anyone kick a flow like SABA does here. Definitely we've heard the triple syllable rhyme scheme before, but the way he's stretching the words is very unique on these lines, and I'm not going to do it the way that he's doing it, but he says, insecurity hurts the same way jewelry works. So if you paying to flex, pay your security first. No point in paying for whips to ride a funeral hearse. We be prepared for the best, but also fearing the worst. The chorus also is incredibly unique, although I can hear some Andre 3000 influence shining through, which if you go back further, was really influenced by Parliament Funkadelic, at least for the style that I'm talking about here. Come My Way is the next track, and it's featuring... Wait a minute, I gotta make sure I'm reading this correctly. This is featuring Krayzie Bone. Been a while since I've heard him, but I'm here for it. Smooth, chill production. I don't know if y'all realize how great these producers are, but if you really think about it, we get a completely different sound on every single track. We got jazz to drill to happy to smooth, and you can hear more versatility from SABA through his verse. He has one of these unique abilities to switch back and forth from catchy harmonizing to intricate hip-hop rhyme schemes, and to be popular and completely unique at the same time. The only other modern artist that I can really see that has that style is JID, but SABA definitely comes from the vein of people like Andre and CeeLo and Bone, for that matter, and Krayzie Bone captures that idea with this line. He says, if I see a majority go to the right, I walk to the left. Still, the Chicago reunion with Smino. Disappointed we didn't get Noname on this track, but we also got Black on the track. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. I used to say Slack. Did y'all say Slack? It's Black that's on this track. And the chemistry is still there with the three, as this is another great track. Simpler Time, more of that guitar. They play the guitar really nicely, these producers, and SABA really showing his vocal range, hitting some notes while singing doot doot, and good lyrics too. He says, she say the little things matter. They show her she needed. If you can provide them, then she won't be leaving. The man of my family can't be no teachers. You learn what you see, and no, we didn't see it. He's kicking some wisdom beyond his years, knowing to do the little things for his girl, even though that wasn't modeled for him from any men in his life. Mereba, who we know from Spillage Village, takes over and also sings the doot doots on the chorus beautifully. Soldier, another good bass line, very catchy, more straightforward chorus on this one, but the lyrics go deep, juxtapositioning the fact that he's a father with the war-like conditions that he has to live in Chicago. He says, it's like I'm drafted and I gotta leave the family. I'm just hoping I return with all my body parts attached to me. Guest appearance from Joseph Chilliams, I think is how you say that, of Pivot Gang. And low-key, this is one of the best verses on the album. He says, told recruiters right before they shoot us that I can't differentiate between blue and black. So I conduct a draft and remain intact. If I had $1, so much of the themes on this album are about wealth, success, and what that really means. And I think he's stating the concept of the album in this one line. He says, money that don't mean wealth, that just mean rich. Great references in some following lines too. He says, hop up out the bitch, I'm Biggie Smalls, give me the loot. They passed you the ball and you caused them to lose. It was all on you. I can't count all the shots that I missed. That Nick Anderson, y'all be scared to shoot. Nick Anderson was an Orlando Magic player in the 90s whose career slumped after missing shots in the NBA Finals. Stop that. You ever just hear the stripped down instrumental, no drum intro on a song and know that it's going to be a banger? That's what we get right here, especially on verse 2, where SABA displays some of the best flow on the project. In fact, I'm putting this on my potential verse of the year list, the way that his flow's coming off on this track. Make believe. Look at this man go from a banger like that to an easy listening drumless backing for his verse on this. Until we get to the midpoint of the track, though, that's when the beat kicks in and the strings hit and it becomes a little cinematic. 2012. Bit of a love song here, talking about love when he was younger, but also referencing the year that he released his first mixtape. It makes you wonder if this is a Common, I used to love her kind of concept. Do I have to explain Common, I used to love her? I don't know. Maybe some listeners are pretty young. Maybe I should explain it. Just go listen to the track. You'll get it. I don't want to spoil it. Listen to Common, I used to love her, if you haven't heard that track and if you like Chicago music. And I love these lines from SABA. He says, I've always struggled to converse if it wasn't a verse. Social anxiety, it got me stumbling my words. But I always speak my mind and shit when I'm with her. Few Good Things, featuring one of the GOATs, Black Thought. Why do we say one of the GOATs? There really can only be one GOAT. This shit's like the Matrix. There can only be one greatest of all time. So I don't know why we say one of the GOATs. So maybe I should say one of the best. Black Thought. And you know that an album is good when they save the title track for the last track. Seriously, check the theory. The last time I remember this happening was Coda the Friends Photo. Anytime the title track is the last track, that album is incredible. And it took him the whole album, but SABA finally reveals what the title means. He says, bad things come in threes, good things come in few. Huge beat switch, and really it's an entirely new song for Thought to spit on, and he gets reflective over the introspective beat, playing into the theme while also paying homage to his mom. He says, how I'm one of Cassie kids, we from SP, and we come in twos. I'm unenthused, but good things come in fews. SP South Philly. Then we get a long pause with the birds chirping before we get to the third song on this track. And SABA comes in with some lyrics that he started with. Some lyrics from the very first track. He brings it all back. He says, I tried that invincible shit, but the principle is, when it's defending your wig, then it's a pendulum shift. I tried to spend a little less like a minimalist, but then I can confess that it gets harder the bigger you get. And this whole verse encapsulates the theme of the album. SABA goes on, all the money, a myth, it's a sunken abyss, but necessary for the family to have somewhere to live. So you stuck with making decisions more than some wouldn't get. The baggage that comes with the bag, hope you not fumbling it. This isn't some rapper out here bragging about how much he's got. We've heard a ton of that. This is a unique concept and incredibly nuanced. Yeah, it's about money. This whole album is about money, but it's taken it from every view. First of all, he's saying that money is not wealth, that it really matters what you do with it. But at the same time, you got to be out here getting this money because that's what's necessary to live. And if you really care about people, then you got to get that money. And you got to have that to take care of the people that you care about. Not just that, to throw in a completely other angle. With getting money, with success, there's all this baggage that comes with it. And the more you get, the harder it gets. Just like he quoted Biggie, give me the loot. Earlier on this album, it all comes back to, in this concept, more money, more problems, like Biggie said. And not often I do this, but I'm gonna drink to this track, the last track, the best track. Really, all tracks on this are equal. I'm sipping on a Badge Honey Blonde. It says smooth as honey on this, so I had to drink a smooth beer to listen to this smooth album. This is a 5.2% local to me, not to Chicago. I should have said my Goose Island for this. I had a good, fancy Goose Island beer, but this is what I have right now. Sipping it. Let's get to the conclusion. This is it, man. Great album, versatility, lyrics, themes, concepts, flows, production. It's all here. Maybe an early contender for top 10 albums of the year. Either way, fully enjoyable album that you can immerse yourself in. Immerse yourself in this. There are few good things, but this album is one of them. I give this a 9. I want to give it a 10. Maybe I should give it a 10. I'm giving it a 9. 9 out of a 12 pack. Maybe I'll regret that. Thanks for watching my review of SABA Few Good Things. If you like this, go ahead and hit like now and hit me up in the comments. If you didn't like it, also let me know why in the comments. I drop hip-hop and hops related content consistently, so subscribe to my channel now. And until I see you next time, keep buzzing. Just subscribe.
But if he's on his channel saying that somebody's album is better than mine, unsubscribe to that motherfucker.
No, your album's the best, man.
There you go. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe.